Do you ever feel like life is not what you thought it would be? Do you ever sit and think to yourself, I've always wanted to be a nurse practitioner, but now that I am one, how come I don't feel that happiness that I thought I would? Career isn't what I expected it would be. It's harder than I thought. And today I want to talk about why the very thing that feels difficult is the very thing you need in your life and to make your life easier. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Nicole. I am a rheumatology nurse practitioner, and I help other nurse practitioners and medical providers make medicine meaningful and wake up excited to work and see patients. Today is a very somber day for me. If you're watching this the same day that I'm live streaming this, today is Sunday. It is May 12th, 2024, and it is Mother's Day here in the US. If you're listening or watching this international, today is Mother's Day in the US. And I've got my tissues here because I might cry on this episode. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I come on live stream and talk to all of you every Mother's Day for a very special reason. And for those of you who are recently following me within less than the last 12 months, then I am so happy to welcome you to this community's annual tradition. Every Mother's Day, I talk about my mom. Every Mother's Day, I talk about her. I don't talk about her any other time of the year to all of you because it's honestly too painful and too vulnerable for me. But Mother's Day is the single day of the year that I turn on my camera, I turn on my microphone, and I become raw and real with all of you. And it's because I love you all. And I want to remind you and tell you why I'm doing this. My mom passed away in 2017. It was very unexpected, it was sudden, and it wasn't supposed to happen. And my life has not been the same since then. I love my mom, and I miss her so much every day. I got married without my mom, and I became a mom without my mom. I always feel a degree of jealousy when I see my adult friends interacting with their moms. Their moms come to visit. Their moms give them a huge hug, check on them to make sure they're eating well, they're doing well. They travel on big family trips together, and they even babysit and hug their grandchildren. And there are so many moments, so many experiences, so many milestones that I will never get to experience. And no, I will never get that experience. I have so many beautiful memories of my mom as a child. I vividly remember my mom would take my little sister and I to the public library every week. She would buckle us up in our station wagon and drove us to the local library. It was this older brown 2-story building surrounded by tall willow trees and this beautiful green belt pathway around it. And I remember the children's section was on the second story of the library. And so whenever we entered the building, I made a race and a beeline for the stairs. And on the second floor, there was always this brown, fuzzy, kind of dirty, but fuzzy rocking horse that I adored. And I had to run to it, ride it a few times, rock it a few times before I would look at all the wonderful books that the library had. And after we checked out the books and we stuffed them into our reusable tote bag, my mom took us on a picnic right outside the library on the green belt. And she would get a blanket and we'd have lunch and she'd read us our newly checked out library books. And looking back, it was such a simple activity, so simple. And yet, taking your child to the library, it seems so simple. And yet, it's one of my fondest memories with my mom. She understood the importance of reading, of constantly growing your mind. And believe me, my childhood library card was used and had frayed edges and looked so beat up. And when my mom hugged me, I always felt like I was so powerful and that I could do anything I wanted to do with my life. And now that I'm a mom to a 3-year-old, to a 3-year-old son who's a beautiful light of my world. I want to pass that tradition on to him and make him feel powerful. And I also wish I could thank my mom. I also wish I could thank her for everything and to give her a huge hug and thank her for all of the wonderful memories she gave me and all the wonderful things she did to help me become the person I am today. And I also wish she could help guide me. She made motherhood look so effortless. So effortless. She never complained. She was never mad, never cranky. At least I don't remember. And there are days that I struggle with parenting. I struggle with balancing my personal and my work life. I struggle with being patient when my toddler has a tantrum and it feels like everything's falling apart. I struggle with navigating marriage in life. I have so many questions to ask her and I can't. And sometimes I feel lost in my adult life without her. And to be completely raw and vulnerable and honest with all of you, sometimes it feels, I don't know if the word uncomfortable is the right word, but I'm going to go with it. Sometimes it feels to a degree of discomfort knowing that I dedicate my life to helping others and I couldn't even be there for my mom. My own flesh and blood, my own mother who brought me into this world, I couldn't be there for her. And yet every day I dedicate my life to strangers, to people who I'd have no familial relation to. And sometimes, the thought does run through my head. Life is not fair. Why can't my mom be here with me? My life is not the way I thought it was supposed to be. This is not the life I'm supposed to live. And I wasn't supposed to become a wife without my mom. I wasn't supposed to get married without my mom. And I was definitely not supposed to become a mom without my own mom. And I know I'm grieving a lost identity that I thought I would have in my future or in my life. And I feel like every Mother's Day, I learn a new lesson. If you look back at my past live streams, videos, podcasts, you'll see that every Mother's Day, I talk about a new lesson that I learned from the past year. And I think we can all identify that our life is not the life we thought we would be. If you think back at when you were a kid, um, is your life what you thought it would have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? And, I want to make this relatable for you. Even as a nurse practitioner, this career is way harder than we thought it would be, right? It looks so exciting and so incredibly fulfilling and rewarding in school and training. And we admire our preceptors and our professors for their intellect, their resilience, their hard work, their professionalism, like their desire and purpose to fulfill this calling and to help other people. And I recall this one nurse practitioner I precepted with in my training years ago. She worked in women's health, and women of all ages, all ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds came to her for pap smears, birth control education, female pelvic exams. And she was so kind. And so she really lightened the mood for every single patient when she walked in that room because every woman cares about her health. Every woman cares whether, if you're having pelvic pain, you want kids, you don't want kids right now. She understood a woman's health is a very intimate thing to every single woman. It's individual and it's very personal. And she understood that. And she really helped lighten the mood every time she interacted with the patient. And I admired that. And now for a lot of us working as a nurse practitioner in medicine, practicing medicine, it's so hard to not get lost in the everyday weeds. um, the daily grind of seeing patients back to back to back, like they're on an assembly line. We're in a warehouse at Amazon, and they're on an assembly line, or suffering through all the nonstop documentation and obstacles and red tape that the health insurances and prior authorizations throw at us. And I recently, if you follow me on Instagram, I recently made an Instagram reel about how I had a patient interaction just last week. A patient with chronic joint pain, very tough situation, chronic joint pain. She has so many questions. It was a very challenging interaction, and it is so easy for you to walk away feeling defeated, to feeling disheartened. I know we deal with a lot of patient complaints. And of course, in medicine, we all know the rules of HIPAA, privacy, that we cannot talk about our patient cases outside of the involved medical team. So when a patient complains about us, or even, goes online and writes, negative reviews about us, we can't say or do anything. Even simple things like patients complaining that we're running behind schedule. We cannot explain that the patient before them had suicidal ideation and needed some extra time. We are not permitted to say that. And it can feel, and because of this, there's so much of our work that is hidden, that we can't talk about, that we can't bring to the surface, bring to the light to show others how much work we are doing. And as a result, we can feel so incredibly undervalued in our work because of that. And it is so easy to absorb all of the negative energy around us, all of the complaints, and truly believe like that's really what it is. I want you to pretend, or I mean, if this is your real scenario, I all my love goes out to you. But pretend that your family, every family member of yours is incredibly negative. Every loved one around you, your family, always complaining, always criticizing you, never a positive word. It feels really suffocating, right? It feels suffocating. It can make you feel really depressed. And, studies demonstrate that if you're surrounded by negative people, it can lead you to feeling cynical, exhausted, and stressed out, and affects your well-being, your physical and your mental health. And feeling stressed out increases your risk of heart issues and health issues, and it can actually shorten your life. And there's a passage in the Bible. So I'm actually agnostic. I don't know if that matters to any of you, but I love reading from all sorts of resources because it helps me relate to all types of patients. And there's a passage in the Bible from the First Corinthians 15:33. Bad company ruins good morals. Bad company ruins good morals. This is a huge part of why life as a nurse practitioner is so difficult. It feels so hard. It's the being surrounded by so much negativity. And that's why I always say, as a medical provider, as a nurse practitioner, in today's era of modern medicine, you must be a master in connecting with patients in seconds, in the shortest amount of time possible. Connecting with your patients meaningfully gives you that instant gratification and joy of feeling and thinking, yes, I am making a difference. Yes, this is why I'm doing this. And practicing medicine requires you to learn and to master how to meaningfully connect with your patient quickly. It might be reassuring a woman with pelvic pain, or reassuring an elderly patient with joint pain or trouble breathing. No one taught us this in school, right? No one taught us this in training. We only learned the clinical expertise, the clinical things that matter. But no one warned us that in order to feel excited and fulfilled with this calling, we need to master how to communicate and connect with our patient. And that's what makes medicine meaningful. And it can feel like, I know it can feel like I have to learn this. Like, why can't patients just trust me? I invested so much of my years, my life, my money, like six-figure student loans, into becoming a nurse practitioner or a medical provider. I have all of this knowledge. Why do I have to persuade patients to believe me? And I feel the same way, just like with my mom. I am not supposed to live my adult life like this. Even 7 years later, it is so painful, as painful as the day that she left us for heaven. Why do I have to live my life like this? This is not fair. I shouldn't have to do this. And so many of you wish that life had an easy button. I get it. I absolutely get it. So many of us wish that life had an easy button and life was just smooth sailing from here to the very end. But the truth is, life happens the way you need it to happen for you. My mom watching me from heaven makes me a better mom. I'm going to cry now. My mom being in heaven has helped me not lean on her as a crutch, but to take the steps I need to become, to take the initiative I need to become the most powerful and the most brave mom I can be for my son. And it forces me to figure things out for myself. And that process of figuring things out, that is the best journey you can be on because it transforms who you are. It transforms what you believe, what you can do. It transforms your confidence. And being a nurse practitioner in this world of medicine that is fast paced and broken in so many ways, it is and easy to make us feel undervalued. It forces you to become and transform into a version of yourself that your life requires you to become. It forces you to learn and to master connecting with your patients as quickly and meaningfully as you can. And in fact, I have a free guide for you all. It's called the three dangerous mistakes you might be making as a nurse practitioner that is keeping you feeling lonely, frustrated, and stuck. And this guide will tell you the mistakes that you might be making, but the what that means for you is that it's going to tell you what to do instead. But the real value for you is that you can walk between patient visits, feeling at ease, navigating challenging and tough patient cases to the point where the patient checks out of the front desk, smiling and laughing. And your colleagues come back and ask you, how did you do that? That was amazing. What's your secret? And feeling amazing in our work, that's what we want, right? And so the link is below in the show notes or description box below. Download that free guide. It is my gift to you to build the life you want and to become the person your life requires you to be. It is still really hard for me to accept that my life, that I'm living a life without my mom. Every day, it's really hard still to accept that. And I know for a lot of you, it's really hard to accept that life in medicine is hard. You are not alone. I promise you, you are not alone. If you feel this way, someone else in the world feels this way, and I feel this way too. And that's what this community is for, is to help you make medicine meaningful. I hope this episode was helpful. Thanks for listening to me cry and belt it out. If you're listening to the podcast and you want to watch me cry on video, go on my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for listening to me on today, on Mother's Day. I wish you all a happy Mother's Day, whether you're a mom, a grandma, a soon to be mom, a mom someday, a fur baby mom, whoever you are. Happy Mother's Day. I love you all, and I'll see you on the next episode.